welcome to DDL, where we discuss everyday topics like current events and or controversial points of view. This is Noel. I'm Void. First things first, shout out to our sponsor, Candle Time. Head over to the link in the description to purchase a candle today.
Advertisement. Welcome to Main Event Mondays. Noel here. You can see Void is not. And if you look behind me, you can see that all of his stuff is moved. He came over this morning. We had some power outage, so we got a late start. And nonetheless, Void is stepping back again from the podcast. With that being said, tune in on Wednesday. I should hopefully we'll have an announcement for you on Wednesday's episode. I'll clue you in on what's going on there. But for today, I'm just going to be running it solo with DNC that's coming up starting today. Well, while you're watching this, it's starting today. So go ahead and switch over to screen share and pull up that article, bud. So what to know about the 2024 Democratic National Convention. All the focus will be on Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. So this is by Isabel Ramirez. The Democratic National Convention is set to kick off Monday as thousands of delegates gather in Chicago less than 80 days away from election day. All the focus will be on the VP Kamala Harris and the Governor Tim Walz, both of whom Democrats already nominated via virtual roll call earlier this month. The pair is working on an expedited campaign timeline following the shakeup at the top of the ticket after President Joe Biden dropped out of the race last month. Biden's immediate endorsement of Harris avoided the potential chaos of an open convention as the party quickly coalesced around the vice president. Harris tapped Walz as their running mate less than 2 weeks ago, and the duo have swung around the country, rallying in crucial battleground states. The convention is expecting 50,000 visitors, including 5,000 delegates and alternates. Organizers also anticipate tens of thousands will take to the streets to protest outside the conventions, particularly over the war in Gaza. Protests are held every day. So we're going to be covering an article on that right next. So here's everything you need to know before the DNC begins. When does the DNC start? It starts Monday, August 19th and runs through Thursday, August 22nd. Where is it? It's in Chicago, of all places. Oh, my God. The Democratic Party chose Chicago because it represents the diversity of the party and country as a union city that sits at the heart of the Midwest. Okay. Events will take place at two main venues, the United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls and Chicago Blackhawks, and McCormick's Place, a convention center about 6 miles away near Lake Michigan. The United Center, which also hosted the 1996 DNC, will feature the convention's prime time programming, including major televised speeches, performances, and remote video presentations. Each day of the convention will start with the state delegates meeting at their respective hotels in the morning for delegation meetings with notable party leaders. Delegates will then move to the McCormick Place Convention Center for caucus meetings and Democratic Party briefings. There will be celebratory parties and receptions afterwards, followed by everyone going to the United Center for a primetime programming. Who is speaking at the DNC? On Monday, President Joe Biden, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Tuesday, former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. If Boyd was here, he'd be making some jokes right now, but he's not here, so just imagine what what jokes he would be saying. Second gentleman Doug Emhoff and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Wednesday's Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, former President Bill Clinton, and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Thursday will be Vice President Kamala Harris. Date to be determined is Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, Dick Durbin, Kathy Hochul. Oh my God, that lady. Lauren Underwood of Illinois, and Jason Carter, grandson of the former president Jimmy Carter. Interesting. So why are Harris and Walz already the nominees? Candidates nominations traditionally become official at the convention where the president and vice president hopefuls deliver their acceptance speeches. But this year, the DNC conducted a virtual roll call on August 6th to meet the deadline of an Ohio law that required party nominees to be selected before August 7th to appear on the ballot in the state. Although the law was repealed earlier in the summer, Democrats worried that litigation could force the candidates off the ballot because the new provisions don't take effect until September 1st. Scroll down. So nearly 100% of the DNC delegates voted to support Harris and DNC chair Minion Moore certified Walton as Harris's running mate. The party still plans to hold a ceremonial roll call at the DNC. So I'm going to stop here just because the DNC basically destroyed democracy this year. Joe Biden was the people's choice. They were who they voted for. He bowed out, and then rather than having another primary to actually select who the nominee would actually be, they just went ahead and gave it to Kamala Harris. The delegates, she called them up and said, hey, you're going to vote for me, right? And they just went ahead and voted for her and didn't care what the people actually wanted. So good job at destroying democracy there, DNC. So let's go ahead and talk about the protesters. So the protesters paused to reconsider opposing Harris at the DNC. They decided on full steam ahead. So I'm a little torn with this one because the DNC or the Democratic Party has a huge hurdle that they're going to have to get over, which is the party is fractured between their extremist left and their, well, I guess the whole party's pretty much gone extreme, but then you have the traditional Democrats who are a little bit more sane, and the party's fracturing. So it's interesting. Oh, excuse me. There was a moment after Vice President Kamala Harris was tapped to run for president when pro-Palestinian activists prepping massive demonstrations at the DNC convention paused to rethink their approach. Scroll down. The main organization corralling more than 200 groups to protest at the convention march on the DNC 2024 met for about half an hour the day Harris announced their candidacy. The meeting was to consider whether to move forward with the same confrontational approach they had aimed at Joe Biden, who they dubbed Genocide Joe, for his policies on Israel. Scroll down. Harris, despite being part of the Biden administration, was seen by some as being more sympathetic to the pro-Palestinian cause and made a forceful case for a ceasefire deal after meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We all came to a consensus that it's not going to make a difference, that Harris represents the administration, and said Hatim Abudaya. Sorry, I butchered your name, dude. Chair of the U.S. Palestinian Community Arc, we're going to stay full steam ahead. So they were going to rethink it, but they're not, obviously. Chicago's already kind of Chi-town. Everybody knows Chi-town. I mean, you're more likely to catch a bullet and going into Chi-town than going overseas anywhere. Shit, you could probably be in a full outright war and probably have less of a chance of getting shot than you are going to Chicago, which is interesting to say because Chicago has got one of the most heavily regulated firearms bans in the country, and it's one of the deadliest places to be. Stupid. 0 in the world? I don't know what that means. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so so protests, along with the simple fact that the city is pretty much a war zone, is it's a DNC is definitely holding an L this year for choosing Chicago of all freaking places. They could have done this much better, but whatever. So nonetheless, DNC is going full force this week. I am probably going to try catching a couple of the speeches. The Carter one actually kind of seems interesting. That might be interesting. And I've always liked Bill Clinton. I thought he was a halfway decent person, but definitely not interested in hearing what Hillary has to say. She's probably just going to spend the entire speech talking about how she should have won the 2016 election. But whatever. So go ahead and switch us back. Sorry, I'm going to check my phone while he's doing that. Stupid mail. So, nonetheless, I think we have everything we need to say on this one. tune in on Wednesday. You're going to hear an announcement as to what I'm thinking moving forward, how this is going to happen. And then check out Friday's episode. We're going to be joining. It's going to be a one-on-one conversation, hopefully. Still waiting for them to arrive so we can sit down and have the conversation. But as long as they arrive, we'll have a one-on-one and covering some topics. Get a male and female perspective on various topics. So, talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Till next time.
Peace.